will release the video.
All right, let's continue. But yeah, basically they're bringing up the sound. Just wait for the video, inshallah. Okay.
Pretty bad, yeah.
Okay, just make it clear again, guys. So, because a lot of new guys are coming in, they're trying to say that when the author of the Quran edits that Aaron didn't make the golden calf, it was a Samari. They said, oh wait, so the conscious edit has an anachronism. The conscious edit has a Samaritan when Samaritans didn't exist. That's how the Quran consciously edits. Well, it doesn't matter whether you think that it's an historical issue or not. The author of the Quran isn't okay with Aaron making the golden calf, edits who made the golden calf to preserve Aaron's nobility. That's the point, right? So as people were mentioning in the comments, it's besides the point.
You know, IP conceded that before.
He did,
IP,
yeah, when I was speaking to him, yeah.
from his mouth, said the Quranic author has a systematic approach to free prophets from major sins. He admitted it. He admitted it himself.
Yep. Yeah, we have to go through that live again one day.
Yeah, so he actually concedes the Islamic. Michael Jones actually doesn't have a response to this. That's so fun. Yeah. David Wood, Michael Jones, Avery Jr., they actually don't know how to respond to this. It's so funny seeing them scramble. They don't know how to respond to this argument.
No, I was gonna ask a stupid question. Yeah, I'm just gonna save myself pain.
But this is one of Muhammad Hijab's go-to examples to show where the Quran is correcting the Bible. Even in the arguments he's using, he's showing errors in the Quran. Pretty bad.
If you take a look at Genesis, you will find that that the story of Joseph is mentioned.
Yo, I can't hear again for some reason, bro. Why is it doing that?
Yeah, it's doing that with everyone coming up, bro. Yeah, does that with everyone. I don't know. Let me check something. Can you co-host?
No, bro. I don't want to go live right now.
All right.
I don't want to go live right now, bro.
I think that's the only way to fix it. But anyways, bro, I'll let you know what they're saying. I'll put subtitles. That might be. Move this. All right, let's see how it goes.
Were prostrating to him and his brothers. But his mother, according to Genesis, died before the fulfillment of this dream, which is, by the way, an internal biblical contradiction. It is an internal biblical contradiction, because how could there be a fulfillment of... Why did he dream that the sun and the moon were prostrated if their mother was not even alive? The fulfillment of the dream is not actualized.
Why does Allah say to believe in all of a book that contains this internal contradiction?
Pretty rude of Allah.
I don't get it.
That's literally David Woods. He doesn't know how to reconcile the Bible. He just brings it back to the Quran.
David Wood is the biggest low tier on there, bro. He doesn't know nothing.
The Muslim difficult decision between two alternatives can come into play. I think that way of argument might come in handy on this part.
So it actually doesn't say that. Let me pull up Logos here, and I'll show you what I mean. It doesn't actually say that his mother was still alive. Hijab needs to check the text. So here, I'll just make this full screen. Hold up. There we go. All right, so what we read here is that Joseph has a dream. He dreamed another dream. He was told it to his brothers. Behold, I dreamed another dream. Behold, the sun, the moon, and the 11 stars were bound to me. But he told it to his father and to his brothers. His father rebuked him and said to him, what is this dream you've dreamed? Shall I and your mother and your brothers indeed come to bow ourselves to the ground before you? Notice who's talking. It's Joseph. And the way I've always understood this was first of all, God doesn't say that's the interpretation of the dream. This is Jacob responding to his son Joseph's dream. And it's
bro, what a quote. Wallahi, what a quote. Listen to what he just said. He's saying, listen, it's not God's interpretation of the prophecy in the dream. It's Jacob, another prophet, by the way. Jacob. It's Jacob's interpretation of the dream. It's not God's interpretation. It's Jacob. Dude, like, this is so stupid. Bro is saying a prophet sent from God, Israel, Jacob, who was blessed by God, misinterpreted a dream, misinterpreted a prophecy in a dream. And by the way, there's no clarification in the text there. The same way you asked us, where does it say conscious edits? Okay, where does it say here that this is not the right interpretation? Where does it say it here?
Well, actually, his interpretation is right because the Bible has what Jacob said partially fulfilled,
Yep.
right? It just doesn't account for the mother and the father. Rhetoric of some kind, right? Is that what he's trying to say? This is rhetoric?
First he's saying, you could just say Jacob made a mistake. It's not God's interpretation. Hala, he's going to say it's rhetoric. Let me just play it.
It seems as though Jacob is being rhetorical. Like, this is impossible. We're not going to do this. I mean, like your mother's not even here. She's dead. There's no way she could be that. So this is his interpretation of the dream. And even some rabbis said this about this. I looked this up. Even some rabbis looked at this and they're like, yeah, this is him basically being rhetorical and saying this is impossible because Rachel's dead at this point. There's no way she could do that. But even if that is, you could just look at...
Okay. Yeah, so the second point is it's rhetoric. So first he's saying, oh, Jacob could just be mistaken here, right? It's not God's interpretation. It's just a prophet from God that made a mistake, right? But the second response is, it's rhetoric. And he's just saying, oh, yeah, how could your mother prostrate if she's already dead?
But it doesn't just say that because it also says, will I, your mother, and your siblings prostrate to you?
Yeah.
So it can't be rhetoric because he is mentioning everybody. All right. So it means the patriarch Jacob, which I think we're going to listen to Jacob better than Michael Jones, who loves, secularism and liberals. I think I'm going to stick with the patriarch Jacob's interpretation himself. I think he's better at interpreting revelation from God than inspiring philosophy. What do you think, Dean? Do you think inspiring philosophy has better exegeting of prophecy, or you think Jacob has it? Of course, it's Jacob, dude. What's wrong with this guy?
I think I'm gonna have to side with Jacob on this one, man. But listen,
Yeah.
I got actually a commentary I took before. Okay, so if you look at Pulpit's commentary on this verse, okay. Let's have a look here. Let me send it to myself. Okay, so let's bring that up. Discord. Here we go. Okay. So, what do we have here? What we have is, just put on the screen. So this is Pulpit's commentary. Okay. So this is what it says. And he told it to his father and to his brethren, who were manifestly concerned as for the reason, and his father rebuked him, either to avoid irritating his brethren, or to repress an appearance of pride in Joseph, or to express his own surprise, or irritation, or sense of absurdity of the dream, which he further demonstrated when he added, and said unto him, what is this dream thou hast dreamed? Shall I and thy mother, right? And then he says, your brother, and so on and so forth, right? So look at all these multiplicity of interpretations. One of them is actually, you could say, the Quran omits intentionally this rebuke. Why? Because it seems like Jacob is saying, am I like someone that's your father going to prostrate to you? Like, what's going on, right? Out of like irritation and so on. It doesn't befit a prophet to be saying they should be humble, right? Look at all these interpretations to the text, right? All of this could be taken, right, instead of what Mike is saying, right? So why would we grant his interpretation out of all these other ones? Irritation, to reduce pride in Joseph, to express his own surprise, for irritating his brethren. So many different interpretations, right? There's no reason for us to take his interpretation over the rest. And actually, as Libiano mentioned as well, it suits best that he is irritated at the fact that he thinks that his parents will prostrate to him in the end, right? Because in the end, it's not just his mother doesn't prostrate, it's his father that doesn't end up prostrating either, right? And by the way, what would the dream even mean with the sun and moon and stars prostrating if it doesn't mean the mother, father, and the brothers are prostrating? Because the father didn't prostrate, the mother didn't prostrate. So what's the sun and moon in the dream then? That's just going to need massive ta'wil. I don't think he actually explains that in the video, by the way.
Yeah, you have 11 stars, and then you have the sun and the moon. Yes? That obviously refers to his siblings, his mother and father. It's obvious. You have 11 stars, that's his siblings, they prostrate, that's fulfilled. Mother and father, or sun and moon, who are those? Right? Who are those?
Yep.
He offers no explanation.
Yep.